What makes knights so cool and interesting? Is it the shiny armor they wear? Or maybe it's the romantic idea of saving a damsel in distress? Well, they were the superheroes of the Middle Ages, protecting the people and fighting for honor. And to aid them on their journeys, they had a supply of different weapons such as swords, spears, battle axes, and so much more. However, I want to talk about a certain knight who uses a very unique tool as their primary weapon. Yes, of course, we are talking about my boy, Shovel Knight. I really enjoy Shovel Knight. It's true. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I first played it on my 3DS and I enjoyed it so much I got it for the PS4. And then the Switch. And then my PC. I've got a handful of versions of this game. This random retro game first appeared on Kickstarter and it quickly blew past all of its goals. On June 14th, the Yacht Club announced for the 10-year anniversary, Shovel Knight, Shovel of Hope DX. This will be an enhanced version of the groundbreaking game, containing online multiplayer, in-game cheats, save states, rewind, and so much more. They're also including 20 new playable characters. And you know what that means. We get to play as my girl Mona. Oh, hey there. How you doing? I'm really looking forward to playing this game. And with it being the 10th anniversary of Shovel Knight, I figured why not check out Shovel Knight, Shovel of Hope.
Once upon a time, Shovel Knight and his partner Shield Knight would go out on successful adventures and nothing could separate them. That was until they went to the Tower of Fate and were separated. Grieving the loss of Shield Knight, Shovel Knight hung up his knighthood and retired. He lived and worked on his own little farm. Until one day, a powerful being known as the Enchantress began to wreak havoc upon the land. She created the Order of No Quarter, a group of knights that helped her with her evil schemes. Mysteriously, the Tower of Fate's seal became broken. With hope of finding his friend, Shovel Knight ventured out onto another daring adventure.
We play as the protagonist, Shovel Knight. According to the official bio, he is a practitioner of the ancient code of chivalry, which states to slash mercilessly and dig tirelessly. He is honest and helpful to all in need, as long as he's not sleeping. He wears his signature blue-plated armor and wields his trusty shovel. His mighty shovel is his primary weapon throughout the game. With it, he can slash enemies, dig up dirt mounds, and shovel drop. You can shovel drop on small enemies as well as on bubbles, and even on dragons. It is easily the best move in the entire game. It kinda makes you feel like Scrooge McDuck from the DuckTale game on the NES. Just without all the gold. And he's not a duck. Well, at least I don't think he's a duck. Is Shovel Knight a human? I mean, we never see him without his armor on. And there is this fish guy, so I guess it's possible. This game actually pulls a lot of different aspects from older video games, inspired by games like Mario 3 with the map, Zelda 2 with exploring villages and gaining upgrades, and Mega Man with the enemies and bosses. Still, with all the inspirations from other classic titles, it still feels unique and original. This game faithfully pays homage to the 8-bit games of the late 80s and early 90s. The game is your normal 2D platformer. You run, jump, and climb to traverse the terrain. Throughout the level, there will be a bunch of small enemies that will get in your way, but they really are no issue. Just whack them with your shovel. Easy. Once you get to the very end of the level, you go against one of the many knights. It is very much like the Mega Man games, but not really, because this game's a lot easier, like way easier, maybe even 10 times easier. Seriously, why is Mega Man so difficult?
Seriously, Mega Man, why are your games so hard? Oh, I can't stay mad at you. You looked really good in Secret Level too.
After getting to the end of the first level, we encounter the Black Knight. He tells us that we should turn back because he doesn't want us getting our girl or something like that. Quite frankly, that's just rude. We don't listen to him and beat him up. He runs away and then we take a little nap because, whew, being a knight is difficult. We then see this dreamlike sequence where Shield Knight has fallen from the sky, and we are tasked to catch her. Once we do, there's a bright flash, and we return back to reality. This will occur several times throughout the game. Each time, more and more enemies will spawn and try to prevent you from catching her. After beating the first level, we now have access to explore a small portion of the map. Let's go check out the village, shall we? Here we can talk to a bunch of useless NPCs that don't really provide much assistance. However, there are a few who are actually quite helpful. You'll meet the bard who has somehow lost all of his music sheets across the land. Seriously, how did you manage that? After collecting a sheet and returning it to him, he'll reward you handsomely with 500 pieces of gold. On the screen over, you have the Gotician who will sell you meal tickets. We can bring these meal tickets to the gastronomer and he'll cook us up a nice tasty meal that'll increase our health by 1. Over to the right, we have the Magicist, who will sell you a magic potion that increases your magic by 10 points. Why, good evening, farmer. I see you have a pile of dirt here. Never fear, Shovel Knight is here. Yes, I did that. I don't need any special treatment. I'm just your average knight.
Alright, well that's pretty much all there is for the villages. Let's talk about some of the levels.
Each level in this game has its own diverse environment and challenges that are based upon the knight in that level. They are well designed to hide in many collectibles and really test your skills at platforming. Each stage introduces unique gameplay mechanics and enemies. For instance, for the King Knight layer, we are storming a golden and lavish fortified castle, decorated with golden tiles, golden statues, red carpets, and beautiful banners. The castle is guarded by soldiers, wizards, and, flying rats? What? Does this count as animal abuse, or did they sign up for this? Unlike that level, the Lich Yard layer of Spectre Knight instead has us in a dark, worn-down village infested by the undead. Throughout the levels, you are more than likely to come across these big blue chests.
Well, you know what they say about big chests. I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of gold in there.
What the? Dang, there's a whole person in there. This is Chester, and he has all the deals. Chester will sell you different tools and weapons, also called relics. These different relics, I feel, are very underappreciated. They are actually very useful, such as the fire wand when wanting to keep some distance between you and an enemy, or even the air horn when there are many enemies in one area. Ah, so you want to toot your own horn, don't you? Very well. I too can play this game. After a few levels, you will eventually come across the armor outpost. Here you are able to talk to the armorer who will upgrade your armor. The Dynamo Mail is the best option in my opinion, for it allows you to perform a powerful charge after 2 consecutive shovel drops. Each armor has their own unique qualities to them. It's really up to the player on which one will work best for you. If you go over to the Shovel Smith, he will provide upgrades such as the charge handle, the trench blade, and the drop spark. Now, what is a game without beautiful music? Breath of the Wild? Well, yes, but no. Music creates a strong connection between players and their games. It influences the gameplay by setting a player's mood and expectations. Just take the first level, for instance. It has an upbeat drive-in rhythm that creates a sense of energy and momentum. It plays with the theme of adventure and exploration that resonates deep within the player. What I'm saying is the music in this game is extraordinary. The soundtrack is composed by Jake Kaufman, and every song in this game is a bop. But hey, don't take my word for it. Take a listen for yourself.
As previously mentioned, at the end of every level, you have to fight a boss. These boss fights are the knights part of the Order of No Quarter, and before we are allowed to enter the Tower of Fate, we have to fight each and every one of them.
Each of them wield unique abilities and introduce a fresh gameplay dynamic. We've got the Black Knight, who we've already met. He actually isn't part of the Order of No Quarter. He is a lone wolf. I walk a lonely road. But he fits in well with the discussion of bosses, so he's gonna be in here. He fights very similar to Shovel Knight. The only main difference being is he can shoot these big purple blasts from his shovel. Man, I wish I could do that. There are also other bosses that aren't knights and aren't part of the Order of No Quarter, such as Baz and Ryza. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but I really don't want to talk about them, so I'm just going to talk about the knights instead. The next knight is King Knight. Spoiler alert, he isn't a real king. His biggest gimmick is the fact he likes to bounce around a lot. He is honestly the weakest and easiest knight to defeat. But I do like his cape. It's pretty cool. Spectre Knight has to be probably the coolest knight we go against. He is a phantom that clutches a giant grim scythe. He will float around and throw his scythe at you, but it really isn't that much of a threat. He might be compensating for something with that big scythe of his. Treasure Knight is the captain of the Iron Whale. He likes gold, gems, and even more gold. He uses his big anchor as a sort of grappling hook, very Zelda-like, and flings himself towards the wall as well as the ceiling. He also has a chest that will try to suck you up, so watch out for that. Plague Knight is a master alchemist and believes that the bomb is mightier than the sword. And I mean, he may have a point. The sword can't really destroy entire cities in seconds. Plague Knight uses an arsenal of bombs that he'll throw at you. These bombs will continuously break the stage's floor, making it a bit more difficult to navigate the stage and attack him. He also summons these vats that, when a bomb hits it, it causes a large explosion. Yeah, just take a wild guess at what his name is. Mole Knight is a little chunky monkey, or mole I guess. I think he might be the character Mole from the animated movie Atlantis. Maybe after discovering Atlantis he decided to become a knight.
Damn! Wow!
You've got Tinker Knight, and he is just a cute little guy. Look at him with his little wrench. Aw, oop, he fell over. He just kind of runs around and falls over a bunch. Really quite simple. After you defeat it... oh. What's this? Oh no. Hey Tinker Knight, I'm sorry for what I said. I didn't mean it, you know. You have to climb the missiles he shoots to be able to reach the top of his mech suit where you can hit him. That's pretty much it. Polar Knight is what I would assume would happen to Shovel Knight in the late future if he moved to the mountains after he lost Shield Knight and isolated himself from society. He wields this huge snow shovel as his primary weapon. I would have loved to have had a game of this added to the treasure trove, like we got of Plague Knight, King Knight, and Spectre Knight. But I digress. Watch out for the snowballs he'll throw at you. These snowballs will also break the ground, revealing spikes that you have to avoid. Cause if you touch them, you have to start all over again. And finally we have the Propeller Knight. He is a talented fencer with one of those propeller caps, but his is fancy. He has an airship that will shoot cannonballs and create pits in the stage. These cannons will continue to fall through the fight. I gotta be honest, this is probably the trickiest fight out of all the knights. I fell many times. He will use his propeller to push you off the stage as well as into the air, where when you are falling down, he'll be waiting right underneath you with his sword ready to impale you.
And with that, we have defeated every knight part of the Order of No Quarter. I loved each and every one of these fights. They each felt different and unique from one another. With the Order of No Quarter out of the way, we finally have access to the Tower of Fate.
The Tower of Fate consists of 3 separate levels. These levels will test your skill on everything you've learned throughout the game, combining all the different gameplay mechanics used in the previous levels. Once you reach the end of the first level, it looks like Black Knight is back. Great. Bro, why can't you just leave us alone?
I don't know what you're doing, but I don't like it.
The Enchantress enchants him with the taste of the power he would have received if he had joined her. And now he is OP. He can move quicker, shoot faster blasts, and even fly. Dang, I really wish I could do that. This has gone far enough. Whatever you've been trying to do, you can't reach her. You may be right. She may already be lost. But I can't lose hope. By now, surely you see who I'm trying to save. What? He's not a bad guy? Why are we fighting then? Oh, I see. He wants my girl. Nope, I'm sorry, bro. She's my girl. Oh, was that you at the beginning cutscene with her? Yeah, no, I didn't think so. Go. Just don't hurt her, or you'll have to answer to me. Seriously, who is this guy? Dude thinks he's him. Whee! Hello.
Hello.
So we once again have to fight the Order of No Quarter. Great. They really aren't that big of a deal. You defeat them all, but wait. Where did they go? Oh, there they... Damn! They begged Shovel Knight to give them a hand up. Fine, only because it's the honorable thing to do. We help them up and finally, we have reached the top of the Tower of Fate, where we come face to face with the Enchantress. And this is where we learn that the Enchantress is actually Shield Knight. Plot twist, what? The fight begins with her revealing that the ground is made up of breakable blocks. She shoots out these plasma balls that will break the ground, creating pits for us to fall in. After a while, we finally beat her, where she ascends and transforms back into Shield Knight. She then begins to fall. Wait, this is just like the dream sequence. My time has finally come. I will catch you, Shield Knight!
Nice.
You caught me. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you caught me. I thought I was gonna fall to my death and die, but no, you are my hero. You are my little snookums poopy fart.
What am I doing?
They talk a bit until the tower begins to shake. Apparently the amulet that Shield Knight was wearing that shattered released the dark magic that transformed her into the Enchantress. So now we have to fight the Remnant of Fate. Only this time, we have Shield Knight by our side. You have to bounce on Shield Knight's shield to be able to reach her head, her weak spot. And after defeating her, the tower begins to shake and crumble. But before we can exit the tower, the Remnant of Fate shoots Shovel Knight with its purple orbs, knocking us out. But luckily the OG came to save the day. Let's go, Black Knight! Woo! You still can't have my girl though. Shield Knight is stuck shielding the magic from destroying all of us. Black Knight tells us he won't leave without her, but Shield Knight insists on Black Knight saving us. So he saves us and then the screen slowly fades to black. We then see the tower crumble in the distance while the town people rejoice and celebrate. And then we get to see each of the knights in their respective layers and what they are up to now that the Enchantress is gone. We then see Black Knight drop off Shovel Knight at a campfire where he exclaims how he kept his promise to Shield Knight. And that is the end of Shovel Knight, Shovel of Hope. Or is it? After the credits, we get to see this very touching cutscene showing Shield Knight limping. She then lies next to Shovel Knight. With our best friend now safe and the knights no longer causing trouble, the world is safe and we can finally rest. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching my stupid video. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing. So sorry this video took a while. I've been busy with school, meaning I have no free time whatsoever. Please go check out Gojin Studios. This is the channel where me and my brothers make live action short films, skits, you name it, we do it. This is actually where I put a lot of my short films where I did for college. So please go check them out. Okay guys, that's enough for me. Happy holidays. See you next year. Bye bye.